Welcome to Straight No Chaser. So grab a glass and join your hosts, your girl MBZ, Pastor C, Thin Bad, and the Chief. Welcome to Straight No Chaser, where we never water down the issues, we only serve the hard stuff. It's the Chief, and tonight, the squad is out tonight, but tonight we're going to talk about a really exciting subject, and I'm always so happy to talk about folks that are making it, that are in the grind, but they're doing an outstanding job at their chosen vocation. So tonight, we're talking about some of one of Hollywood's rising stars. And I'm really excited that this guy is on our show tonight, because tonight we're talking to Brian Distance. I'm sure many of you may have heard of a little old movie called The Green Book, or another little TV show called NCIC New Orleans. Well, Brian has been on both of these incredible shows, along with a whole lot of other great stuff. So if you haven't heard of those shows, if you haven't heard Brian, then guess what? You're missing the excitement. If you have, then you know what you're about to be in for: an amazing conversation with an amazing actor. So Brian Distance is our guest tonight, and we're so excited to have you here, Brian, and welcome to Straight No Chaser, Brian.
Well, Michael, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm blessed to be here. And it's just such a blessing to be on your program.
Well, I really appreciate it. And of course, Brian, we really appreciate having you here. And just want to remind the audience, you can chat with us live, or you can give us a call at 240-508-8095. And again, that's 240-508-8095. And we'll get you on with Brian Distance. And if you have anything that you want to share via the chat line, of course, we want to hear from you. So, Brian, again, it's really an honor to have you here. And I know that you have been in the business for quite a while. So before we get into some questions, why don't we hear a little bit about your journey? Tell us, how long have you been in the business, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
Let's see. Actually, I started, and I like to say that I started all the way back when I was in first grade, second grade at St. Cecilia's school, where I was in a play, and we were doing a Christmas play, like We Three Kings of Orient and or whatever. So I was the king of frankincense. So I had to walk up in front of people and I had to say, frankincense to offer revive. And so I had like about 5 or 6 lines that I had to sing, and I did that, and then I loved that. And then from there, I was in a school play. I had to be about maybe about like 8 or 9 years old, and I can still remember my lines from that play. And
wow!
And of course, my line was the pivotal line, of course. And all I said is that goodness gracious, sakes alive, it can't be, but it must be the Christmas fairy.
Wow! And I know your mom was in the audience going, "There's my baby. Oh Lord, isn't he good?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, she stood up and clapped, and my parents clapped, and I'm like, you know what? I could do this. And then back when I was back in Baltimore, I saw the Morse Mechanic theater presentation of our Annie. And
wow.
During the first intermission, and while we were in the second intermission, and while the people were on stage, I jumped up and I yelled out, "I can do this!"
Wow.
And of course, my dad shot me on one of those looks and said,
That's
like,
right.
"Boy, you better shut up. Be because I'm paying all this money for
right.
this goddamn ticket, and you want me to get me thrown out of here. So
that's right.
Then from there, I just cultivated. Still doing some student theater, some community theater, some shop, some summer stock, and then it was funny because back in 2007,
mm-hmm.
and I know that you know this person pretty well because we all grew up together. But I was living in Philadelphia at the time, and I was at a place in Philadelphia, and Chris Allen.
Oh wow.
He was in the same building
uh-huh.
at the same time, and then for some reason there was a fire alarm, and I didn't know that he was in the same building that I was in
uh-huh.
because I've been in that building. I was living in that building for about 2 or 3 years,
uh-huh.
and he came out and he said, "Brian, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, this is where I live." And he said, and then I asked him, "Well, what is he doing here?" He said, he's on a film crew shooting this movie called The Ungodly.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to know whether I wanted to be in the movie. So I said, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it all started.
Wow.
It's just God brings people into connection.
Sure.
And then from there, you just go with it. And you don't know where it's going to start, where it's going to end, but you just have to just go with the flow.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah, and it comes down to like all you want to do is just like, look, have a game. I mean, just know where you want to go.
Right.
Don't worry about how, because God is going to put the pieces together for you.
Okay.
And that's how I started.
That's really impressive, and of course, you know, I know your strong Baltimore roots. And I know that mm-hmm. you had a great support network. But before we get into your career, one of the things that I really wanted to find out from you, Brian, particularly now that you are on a lot of different sets and you're really making your way in the business, in light of all the stuff that's going on right now surrounding all this coronavirus stuff, how is that impacting the movie business and the TV business?
It is affecting it extremely harsh. I mean, whenever you go on set, you're around, I would say, cast and crew of about maybe 100, 150 people. You are constantly in contact. You are eating with them. You are interacting with them, and sets are going to be closed because of the coronavirus.
Sure.
You have a lot of live TV shows that
sure.
are not filming right now, just due to the fact that people are congregating in order to see
sure.
Things like late night with whatever host Saturday Night Live, that
sure.
they're going to stop production just because of the fact that if you have a lot of people congregating in one area, then that allows the
right.
disease to spread, or the illness to spread, what they wouldn't call it right now.
Wow.
So it is really affecting it. And in fact, I was reading a report where the new James Bond movie is not coming out right now.
Wow.
Just due to the fact of the coronavirus. So it's really going to hit the movie industry hard, and especially it's going to hit movie theaters really hard. So you're just going to see that the ways that the movies have been coming out, the TV shows have been coming out, people are relying more on staying at home in order to watch a first-rate movie. And this coronavirus is going to push that even further to the fact that I would say within 5 to 10 years, the movie theater experience will be limited only to IMAX and things that need to be shown on a big screen. But everything else is going to be taking place in your own living room.
Wow. Well, you know, just going back to what you said earlier, do the various sets, do they take precautions right now in terms of, okay, everybody that walks through this door, you have to do your hands, and then when you go through that door, you have to wash your hands? What steps are they taking right now, not only to protect the public that may want to see of film being done, and I know some of them have now stopped bringing the public in, but let's say for the actors and the technicians, what types of things are they doing right now to protect you, or are they just considering no more filming for a while?
Oh, no. Now, the entertainment business is a business that keeps grinding. And as such, you have Perel stations on pretty much every 15 feet, so that the director tells you, the crew tells you, look, when you get to your trailer, they tell you, like, look, wash your hands, take this, take that. And in fact, when you're in hair and makeup, right before you go to set, there's a Purell stand where you have to just wash your hands or just take the disinfectant. And in fact, that is becoming the norm rather than the exception. So you're going to see more precautions being made in order to make sure that people are germ-free or as germ-free as possible when they do enter on set. And on top of that, if you're in a very intensive scene where you have to kiss a member, then at that point you're going to have to go through various checks to make sure that the other person with whom that you're in the scene, whether that they check out, that there's no contagious element within them, and then you have to go through your what we have now is an intimacy coach, which will direct us in doing whatever scene that the director or the scriptwriter has us doing in terms of any intimacy sort of related scenes. But in order to keep check or to keep in constant viewpoint of if there's any further risk of spreading of any virus and so forth.
Wow. Well, I certainly hope that they are able to deal with this particular virus. I know we've had them in the past in various forms, and I just hope that they're able to resolve this in as quickly as possible so that people can get back to seeing their favorite shows or making movies or whatever it is that people want to do with their daily lives. So let's hope that happens. So anyway, I don't want to spend the whole time on the coronavirus because that's another 5-hour conversation. But let's get back into the career of Brian Distance, the actor. Tell me, Brian, about your first audition, if you remember that. How did that go, and what was that role for?
Wow. First audition, oh my God. First audition I had that I can remember was for, let's see. I think it was for like Kashmir Mafia. This was about 2008.
What was the show?
And it was called Kashmir Mafia.
Okay.
And it was a 2008 TV series. It had a short run, and in fact, what happened was that the producers of Sex and the City wanted a spinoff. However, one of the producers started filming Kashmir Mafia. The other one did another TV series, and they were pretty much competing against each other. And so I went up for an audition for Kashmir Mafia. It was for the role of the boyfriend of one of the leads. I went up there, I did my lines, I forgot my lines, I stumbled through my lines. I realized, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? All in a millisecond and trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Needless to say, I didn't get that role. But it told me that what I need to do in order to make moves in the industry is that I need to get formal training. It's just like if you are a doctor. You can say that you want to be a doctor, but if you didn't go to med school, no one's going to hire you to perform any surgery. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school. If you want to be a mechanic, you have to go to a trade school in order to become a mechanic, and you have to do the proper coursework in order to make